Good morning, Stitchy Jammers. How you going? My name is Jay. This is the StitchyJam Knits YouTube channel where I talk about knitting, sewing, books, life, craft, and everything in between. I have started filming weekly. However, last week I didn't sleep well. I was just exhausted. And then I had to go back to work. Excuse me. I thought someone was starting up their leaf blower. So I've got a fair bit to catch up with you this week. So welcome if you're new here, and for everyone else, welcome back. Thank you so much. I have 100 subscribers, so I'm really, really grateful for that. Thank you for being here. I'm really happy that you're enjoying my content. I've been feeling a bit low the last few days, and I thought maybe coming here to say hello to you guys would help lift my mood, and even just getting things prepared for it. To come and say hi and to show you everything I've been working on has been really helpful. So a lot's happened in a couple of weeks. I have an injury, which is being diagnosed from the physiotherapist as tennis elbow. It's basically tendon related, and it means I am unable to sew or knit or anything fun at the moment. It means I'm off work until we can work out how I can do my role with light duties. I work hospitality. It's going to take some thinking about. I review with the physiotherapist in a week, the doctor in 2 weeks, the acupuncturist in 2 weeks, and everything in between. So, suffice to say, I've been a bit low because I had a plan to launch some new project bags, which I was working on prior to that. Which will be delayed, and that's okay. I hadn't set a set date. It's more that I was in flow and I don't want to lose that momentum, but it is what it is, and we do our best to rewire things. And thankfully I've had a suggestion from my therapist to perhaps try some embroidery, which I don't know how to do, but I do know how to cross stitch. So I've found a little cross stitch that I started maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I don't even know when I started it, but I have done nothing but get it out of the cupboard yet. However, I think that I'll give that a go because I'll only then be using my good hand for it, and I won't need to use that left arm at all. You know, obviously to hold it. And if I feel that that's uncomfortable, I won't do it anymore. But I'll try, and if it's no good, then I'll stop. So where do I begin? In this episode, I have finally got organized to talk about my knitting WIPS. I also have some sewing WIPS, as well as some finished products. I have one acquisition and some finished objects. I've already said that. Oh, and some books to talk about. And I think that's it, but I shall crack on, and you know, if I forget anything, I forget anything. But I have a big pile down here, so we'll get started on that. So grab your cup of tea, grab a cup of coffee. It's nice to have you here, and sit back and enjoy and relax. And I hope you enjoy this episode. If you do enjoy this episode, yeah, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. Put your notifications on so that you don't miss the next one. Give me a like or a thumbs up. It's really helpful to help other people see this video. And if you feel like having a chat, I like having a chat, and put a comment below and I'll get back to your comment as soon as I can. Let's get on with it. Oh, and by the way, this is what I'm wearing. It's just a t-shirt that I have adapted to have my own style by putting a little patch pocket on there. And my favorite color is green. And I'm a nature lover, so it's really just, you know, that bit of personality added to a plain tee. So yeah. In terms of works in progress for knitting, I thought I had a lot more than I do, so that's a positive. But there are some projects that have been going on for quite some time, probably since I started this podcast. And I have talked about them before, but it's worth, you know, updating and introducing things to anyone that's new here. So I've got 2 pairs of vanilla socks on the go, and a pair of socks called Tea at Downton Abbey. Now, I finished the first sock a year ago-ish. Yeah, pretty much almost a year ago, when I was overseas traveling in the Yorkshire Dales. And it was straightforward. I followed the pattern, no drama, everything was fine. I started the second sock. I've pulled it out about 5 times. My mum got sick of it sitting around, so she picked it up and started to do it, and she's pulled it out about 3 times. I don't know why, but this second sock doesn't want to be made. So it will get done when it's in the mood to get done, because at the moment it's not being friendly. It's exactly the same pattern, it's exactly the same sock, but the second one just does not want to play ball. Here I will put a picture in if I remember. I think that sometimes I say I'm going to put things in, and then when I'm editing the video, or you know, I launched the video like a few weeks ago when I forgot to cut out the pause. I'm human, I'm imperfect, but I will do my best to put a photo in. If for some reason I forget to do that, just go down below, click on my Instagram page and scroll. You will find it there. All right, so I have a simple pullover on the needles. Now, this has been on the needles for 2 years. It was my first ever garment attempt. It is in 4-ply. And at the time, I was a size 14 because of COVID era and putting on weight, and basically I think it's pointless to keep knitting that. It's going to be huge. I will show you the fabric on that. It's really beautiful. I love it. It would be fine for an oversized jumper, which is why I haven't pulled it out yet. However, thinking about the arms for the size that it is, I think they're going to be too big. I think I'm probably better off frogging it and utilizing the wool for something else. This is the fabric it's making at the moment, so it's like really beautiful. It's just going to be a bit like a lot too big. It's called something forest, and it's drops alpaca. Do I have a label in here? Probably not. Yes, I do. Does it say? So drops alpaca. It doesn't have the name. It just says colored 7815, but I'm pretty sure it's called like rainforest or something. I'll have a look and see if I can find it, and I'll put it in the notes below. And it's actually really, like, really nice to work with, and it was inexpensive. It's something that I recommend if you like the feel of alpaca. The other project that I have, there's two test knits. One is the Voyager's Comfort Wrap, which there is an episode a few back. If you'd like to go and have a look at it, I'll link it below. Samantha. And the other is, sorry, I got distracted trying to find Samantha's surname. I will dig in this pile for a minute. So I'm silly, and I put it at the bottom. Right, here we go. It's called the Voyager's Comfort Wrap. And it's by Samantha Renwick, who is a knitwear designer from the UK. And I have done 3 sections, which is what was required for the test knit, and haven't continued it. I will. I have started to, pre-injury, and I will continue to do that. And this is where I'm at with that. So as you can see, not very far. And I'm doing sort of greens and purples. I rated my own stash. I rated my mum's stash because I wanted it to be able to go with pretty much anything I own. And with the exception of me starting to add some variety other than green into my wardrobe, I'm into really earthy colors. And although some purples don't really fit into that category, which is why I pulled one section out because it didn't really go. Some of the lighter ones are sort of more like floral kind of vibes, so they still kind of got that earthy, you know, your flowers that you get in the wild, I guess. I know what I'm trying to say, it's just not coming out. So there's that. Then we have the Harbour vest. And I have talked about this before. This arm is going to bother me. Even making this video. Depressing.com. But let's try not to talk about that and dwell on it. Right, the Harbour vest pattern, which isn't released yet, is also a test knit for Rebecca Duncan of Journey Through Yarn. Now, I started this and it was very productive. I did the whole of the front and the back before you join it in the round. However, something went amiss and the cables didn't match up on both sides. And no matter what I did in my head, I couldn't figure out where I went wrong, what I did. And so that is effectively the front. Yes, it's got this beautiful cable pattern in there, and I haven't talked much about it because I was going to talk about it once it was finished. I have frogged the back, which is actually where you start here and go down, and I still can't figure out where I went wrong. This yarn is really lovely, sheepy, thick, rustic, toothy, and is lovely. For cables, it's a little bit tough. I've enjoyed knitting it. I wanted to use this yarn because it came from Scotland. The designer, knitwear designer, is from Scotland. I've been to Scotland. This is when I got this yarn from the mill, which I've talked about before. And then I've got this Scottish Cow project bag stitched by Mrs. D. So there was a mood and a theme and a purpose for me making this. And it looks beautiful, but given where I'm at and given the deadline, which has now been extended, I've made the decision to leave it alone and pick up some lighter, less toothier, softer wool. I have a huge cone of this wool. I've balled up a couple of 100-gram balls. It's 4-ply. I'm going to hold it double, and I'm going to start it again. Basically, is the short of it. I think that there's a few reasons, as I've just mentioned, and also, as much as I really love wearing green, it's my favorite. It brings me joy. It brings me comfort. Even today, I'm head to toe in green. Everything I wear is green. Sometimes it's nice to have something to break that up a bit. That's still kind of earthy and makes me feel happy. And I think this is going to do that. I have swatched, I have blocked, and it fluffs out and fluffs out. I don't know if that's a technical term, but it does. It fluffs out and it's really soft and lovely. And I just think, rather than do my own head in trying to figure out, it's not the pattern. I've checked the pattern. It's me. I've gone wrong somewhere. So I figure I know the rhythm of the pattern now. When I'm healed, which who knows how long that's going to take. The day that I decided to do this, I realized, well, that's not going to happen for a while. So that's unfortunate. It's getting me down, to be honest, but what can you do? I have to just ride the wave and wait and do all the right things and get healed, and we will knit again eventually, and we will be able to sew again and, you know, go to work without thinking about what I'm doing, and all of those things will happen over time. So yeah, that's the decision I've made about the harbour vest. I think it's a good one, and then I'll reuse the Scottish wool and eventually bring myself to frog it all. And I think that with that, because it is so toothy, doing something without cables in it would probably be better. So I think I've talked about everything now except for the Perec vest by Oriane Sugar. I'm sorry if I have pronounced that wrong. I probably have. I will put the details below. I haven't started this properly. I've only swatched. So technically it's not a work in progress, but if I've swatched, it kind of is. And breaking the green trend, I am using 100% reclaimed mill waste yarn from Fibre Art Shed. It's blended, carded, woolen spun, Fibre Arts, Jillaby, New South Wales. It's 8-ply and the colour doesn't have a name, but as you can see, which the light doesn't really, I've filmed this before, it doesn't do it justice. It's coming up on here sort of like browny orangey color, but in reality, it's a soft pink. I I don't know. Maybe if I take a photo of it and pop it in, it might be better. It's got flecks of orange, flecks of, I guess it does have flecks of brown in it because it's mill waist and they have dark Corriedale sheep. I wish I could show you. It's not going to come up. So I'll work out a way how to, but it's this beautiful pink color. Maybe if I put it here. That's more true tone. So if you can zoom in, I'll work it out. If all else fails, we'll put it on Instagram. You can go and check it out there. So in terms of knitting WIPS, apart from ideas about what I want to make, they're the only things that I have on the needles. I'm not going to show you the socks because I've showed you before. One of the pairs of socks, I am trialing out something that I feel could potentially become me writing a pattern. So I won't talk too much about that. So we'll move on to sewing projects now. First and foremost, let's talk about finished projects and what I've got finished. Let me just dump those things down. So the quilt that you have all seen in the last couple of videos that I've been working on the binding has finally been finished. The only thing that needs doing is dehairing, because if any of you know that cats love quilts, and cats loving quilts equals fur everywhere. However, here we are. It is a very scrappy dappy do. Quilt. It's very small, it's lap-sized, it's nice and cozy. There's not really much more to say about it. It's very hard to sew, but it was my first like scrappy quilt top that I have now finished into a quilt. It's navy blue on the back. And the binding is all hand sewn now, little ducks. Lovely. Me and the cats will get great pleasure out of that. Oh, I need a wriggle about. My second finished object has been finished completely except for 5 tiny stitches for the better part of 18 months. Something like that. So I picked it up and I did the few stitches and here we are. This is a waistcoat. I'm not going to be able to show it on here, am I? Hang on a second. Do the buttons up. So there's a shop called the Sewing Basket in Newington. They have a few other locations and they're run by people with disabilities. They're the workers in the shop. It's secondhand fabric, wool, like anything creative that you can think of to do with fabric and sewing. And let's see, how am I going to show you this? All right, so here it is. It's got these pockets. That's better. It's lined pockets. It's here at the back. Proper old-fashioned waistcoat. I'll put all the details of the pattern down below. And it just fits perfectly. Got that tied up. It's obviously green, which is my favorite color. I've been wearing it. Here's a picture of me wearing it it may take up the whole screen. I haven't quite worked out how to just put a picture in yet. So it might cover the whole screen. And then on the inside, I have lined it with this beautiful fairy wren fabric. Unfortunately, when you're wearing it, you don't get to see it. I haven't quite figured out, maybe if I wear it open, I mean, it looks better buttoned up, but I know it's in there and it's pretty and it looks lovely. And if I walk around like this, then you guys can see it. But it's so super cute. It's super comfy. It's keeping me warm without being too hot. I can wear it dressy. I can wear it casual. I've had a few lovely compliments about it. I just absolutely am in love with it. And I'm proud of it. It's my first proper garment that I've ever sewed. I did do a pair of pajamas, which I still haven't finished yet. Excuse me, my face has just gotten really itchy. They only need hemming, but I used the wrong material for it. So they'll end up being a pair of like just casual round the house kind of trousers, I think. I don't think the material is suitable for bed. I think it'd be too hot and sweaty. But this is like, apart from those trousers, this was the second and only finished garment that I've made and learned how to do. Sorry, I've just had a wave of tired. Having an injury is very tiring. Even if you're not really doing anything, your body's obviously working hard to heal it. And whew. Anyway, I shall have a sip of my coffee and we will regroup. What are you guys working on at the moment? Whether it be sewing, knitting, something in between, let me know in the comments. If you're on Instagram, put your Instagram handle. I'll come over and I'll check it out. Thank God for coffee is all I have to say. So they're all the finished objects. I do have some sewing WIPS, one of which I haven't started yet. I think I talked about in the last video. I can't remember, to be honest. That was a couple of weeks ago. I may not have. I got inspired from people on the internet to do a Bilbo vest by Thread and Yarn. And the reason I'm talking about this as a WIP, because I've got the pattern and it's been printed off, but it also ties in with my next WIP because I have another quilt that's a work in progress, and I was thinking that possibly, rather than keep going to turn it into a quilt, that I'm going to use it to make that Bilbo vest. And that is this. Heavily pinned at the moment for quilting purposes. Surprise, surprise, it's green. I don't know if I've showed you this or not. I really can't remember. I don't think so. But it's a very scrappy green patchwork quilt. And honestly, I really am considering it to be that Bilbo vest. I think that given that it's scrappy and patchy anyway, it would make a really nice garment. I have the material on the back which I could use for the lining, and I've got already the material that I was going to use for the binding. So I really think that could work. What do you guys think? I mean, I just love it, but do I really need another quilt? Or do I keep making the quilt I don't know. I don't know what the decision that will be made, but I think I'm leaning towards doing that. So we shall see. I have to be really mindful to not use that arm, right? Which is a little bit awkward, but we've got to do what we've got to do. I'm going to stick this behind me. Honestly, like, you take it for granted that you have working limbs, you know? You take it for granted that really, and I mean, I do wake up or go to bed, mainly wake up and sing sometimes the song that I made up. That starts with, I am grateful for my toes, I am grateful for my nose, I am grateful for my lungs to help me breathe. And then I go through all these things that I'm grateful for within my body. Because we do all take for granted that this, for the most part, obviously not everyone, but for the most part, most people go about their day. They don't think about anything, and we just function and we take that for granted. So when something happens, we think, you know, we rethink it. It's like when someone passes away and we sort of take a rain check and go, what am I doing with my life? It's the same thing. You know, we take things for granted when they're working well. But I think it's really important to take stock, to journal, to write things down, and to really every day thank your body for something. It doesn't have to be big, you know. We're here, we're breathing, our heart's functioning, our blood's pumping around, our brains are working. And it's important, I think, to check in with yourself. And that's my 2 cents. Right, we're 30 minutes in. Thank you for still being here. I'm going to talk a little bit now about my project bags, and then I'm going to talk about the books that I've acquired. I'll show you the little cross stitch that I'm doing, and then we shall wrap up. Because we all have short attention spans these days, myself included. Before I do all of that, I'll show you my acquisitions because they're super cute and I don't want you to miss out. If I can find where I put that little notepad that I just had. I don't know what I did with it. Ah, here it is. Fallen to the ground. These are from the Yarn Bowl in Queensland, who had super quick postage. Like, so quick. And their Firefly Notes is the brand. They're stitch markers, but they're the cutest stitch markers I have ever seen. I am a sock queen. I love to knit socks. It's my favorite thing to knit. Whoop! And these cute little stitch markers are little tiny pairs of socks. They're so cute. Like, how cute. One more. They're obviously hard to show because they're tiny. But like, how cute are these? I just love them. So thank you, the Yarn Bowl. Because there weren't many very left in the world. And getting them in Australia from overseas is so expensive. And they had a reasonable price. And it came from inside of the country. For those of you that don't know, I have in the last year and a half been making project bags for knitters. I have been inspired by many people over the internet and I enjoy making them, and I do it for fun, and then I sell them on my Ko-fi shop. I have been approached by a business to do a batch lot for them for an event that they had. However, they didn't really give me a big enough deadline. I'm one person and their deadline was something like 2 or 3 weeks, and as nice as it would have been, I was really excited that someone contacted me and asked me to do a lot for them. It was just unrealistic and I couldn't manage it. If I wasn't working full-time, then of course I would have been able to do that. But making bags for me is a hobby and a side gig, and something that brings me joy, but is in very small limited edition batches. And I make them, I sell them, we move on, and a few months later I might do another batch, you know. I say they're limited edition because they are, because most of the time I've got a small run of that particular material, or at the moment, for example, I've gone through my stash and I'm doing an Australian themed stash busting bag line, and it's really great. I'll show you a couple that I have finished. They haven't got their cables in at the moment. I have an array of material that I'm inspired by. Production has halted because of the injury at the moment, but the ones that I've done so far, you can follow me at StitchyJam Project Bags, which you can find on my normal Instagram at StitchyJam _ I'll put it below, and you can keep updated that way. But it's gonna be weeks now that I'm injured, so yeah, if you follow that, you'll keep your eye out. So this is one. Front and back, little koalas. And then I've done 3 like glass. Let's show you one at a time. So there's this one. So I'm using the Australian themed wildlife panels as the main feature. And I'm going through stash and finding different colors that I think will go with the material. Some of them are a little scrappy and patchy. They just need their ties in at the top, and they're sock sized. I'm going to do predominantly sock sized. I'm also going to make like one of each style, like in a bigger, for like something like a jumper or a bigger project. And then I also have enough zippers to do some notion pouches as well. So that's the plan, and it will happen over the course of this year. I'll let you know, I'll keep you updated. Starting from, like, not the notions pouches, I'll work out how much they are, but the small sock bags are starting from $45. I sold them for $55 last year. But I've been having a look at what's out there and what people are selling theirs for, and so I've just reduced it by $10 because I think that still covers costs, like making costs, hours put in, etc. But is also keeping like on the market of what other people are charging, you know, while still getting something, you know, that's of value to the amount of like time material ratio, if that makes sense. I do have a few left over from Christmas that are ready to go. I'm going to put them back up in my shop. So if you guys want one, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 left from Christmas last year. I don't know if it's too early for Christmas, but I have already started thinking about the project bag line for this Christmas. So next week, maybe I'll show you the material that I have in mind for that. So this is them. And the Christmas ones I did with ribbon. I can't pull it at the moment, I'm sorry. So, but you can use your imagination. I'm now using calico. I've had some feedback on the ribbon, and as you can see, it's a little tough, but it will loosen over time. But the good feedback, positive feedback, is when it's tied, it's got a long enough tie. Let's see if I can do another one that's a bit softer. Oh, this one's better. So that you can wrap it around your wrist to carry it. Because a lot of people are saying that that's really helpful, which is why on the new line I've put in some handles so that it's a bit easier for people when they're out and about. Some people like to knit out and about walking. But yeah, as you can see, the ribbon is just a little bit tough, but it's because they haven't been used. Once they get used, it'll be absolutely fine. So there's another one there. And you got your little Christmas puddings with some Christmas carols around the top. And then this one here with the green. And they're all padded and lined. And they're all finished really nicely. And I sold quite a few last Christmas. I sold all of my Easter bags, which if you do go to the StitchyJam project bag Instagram page, you will see. My arm's starting to get sore. I'm going to wrap this up very soon and go and put some more Voltaren on. And then I also have 2 project bags that were made by my mother as a gift for me, but I've outgrown them, and so I'm probably going to sell them on. They're not lined and they're a little bit shorter, that's not the right word. They're different. They're not, they don't have the flat bottom. They're just, you know, and you don't have to use them for project bags, for wool, for knitting or anything like that. Like this would be nice for a little girl to put bits and pieces in. She can carry it around. And then I've got a bigger one here. But I put all the details on my Ko-fi shop and I'll let you know when that's live. I'll update you. I'll put a reel or something up like that unless it doesn't happen till next week, and then I'll tell you in next week's podcast. So that's all for my knitting and sewing this week and this fortnight. I'm sorry, because obviously I didn't film last week. And I probably have to say that it probably really won't be anything much to talk about next week. But I'll still come and have a chat and update you on the arm, and it might be a bit of a shorter one, but you know, that's okay, isn't it? This one's been a bit longer than usual, so it'll make up for it. Now, books. The book I'm currently reading is Normal People by Sally Rooney. If you're in for a light read, if you're in for something that you don't have to think too hard about, you want to relax to, you don't want to, you know, like I said, you don't want to think too hard, an easy, lovely, light read, this is the book for you. I'm really not into romance. This is about romance. I got this for $1 from the charity shop. I thought I'd give it a go. I'm halfway through the book. It's really enjoyable. I'm just loving it. It's a book that I wouldn't ordinarily pick up. But as I said last week, I normally am the kind of person that reads things that are non-fiction. And to read, I've started on my fiction journey. And it's nice. It's nice to relax to escape to. So it's Connell and Marianne grew up in the same town in the west of Ireland, but similarities end there. In school, Connell is a popular and well-liked boy, while Marianne is a loner. But when the two strike up a conversation, awkward but electrifying, something life-changing begins. Normal People is a story of mutual fascination, friendship and love, It takes us from that first conversation to the years beyond, in the company of two people who try to stay apart but find they can't. And honestly, I would never read a romance novel like this. It's not something I would think to even read, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's easy to read, it's easy to pick up and understand where it's started, and yeah, it's just, I really recommend this. I think she's a good writer. She does another one called Conversations with Friends, and I think that I'm going to try and have a look for that too, because it's just a nice, easy, light read. So yeah, I mean, I found 6 books for $6 at the charity shop, which I'm stoked about. This is them. So when I am reading them, I'll talk about them then, because I think that's enough for today. Before I wrap up, I shall show you that I've done 2 lines of the cross stitch, and whoop, here's a little koala, mini koala, very small. So I'm going to do that, and when it's finished, I'm going to send it to my cousin's baby Louie, who I call Jack Jr. because Jack, my granddad, Jack, my cousin, and baby Louie, aka Jack Jr. He doesn't know that, but maybe if he watches this, he will. But Louie, his name's Louie, he's lovely, he's lush. I'm going to make that for him. I'm talked out. You're probably sick of listening to me. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I'll keep you posted on the arm and everything in between. And thank you for being here and hanging out with me for 45 minutes and keeping me company while helping me to lift my mood given the circumstances. The light in here is also changing, so it's definitely time to wrap up. But thank you so much for being here, and thank you for 100 subscribers. I'm really grateful. And I'll see you next week. Have a good week. Bye.